welcome. It is Tuesday afternoon. My name is Savannah Norm, and I'm a developer advocate at Redis. And if you're not familiar, I'm glad you're here. If you are familiar, even cooler to see you again. I do have a special guest waiting in the wings. If you are familiar with our stream on Twitch or YouTube, you might be familiar with, drumroll please, Justin Castilla.
Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
It's Castilla. I always sort of assumed those double L's.
Nope, absolutely 100% correct. It is Castilla.
Cool. So regardless of whether you're familiar with my stream or not, I'm going to go ahead and give Justin a quick rundown real quick of a fast API that I did. Oh man, I guess it was a few weeks ago now on stream.
Wow.
You'll notice that currently this password is a dummy password. That'll be important here in a minute, because as much as I am going to share that password with you, I didn't want to put it just on GitHub. So we'll correct that in a minute. But basically, this is just a teeny tiny little fast API app where we start off with a current value. I'm not clearing out this database very often. I think I've reset it once. I think I've reset that value to 0 once. So I don't actually know what that value is right now. We've got a set that has a sleep in it. We've got a fast set that does not have the sleep in it. We've got a get, a multi, which I was starting to kind of explore a couple little things with promises and when you have to await values and all that stuff. And then for the interesting part, specifically for today, I've got an anchor by with a sleep, and then a decker by and a decker by with a sleep. Now, there's no actual decker by command in Redis. It's just anchor by with a negative number. But the thing I'm doing today, Justin, is that I have not the right browser pulled up. There it is. So I have the Redis Cloud console pulled up today. If you guys are familiar with our developer advocates, you'll know that for the most part, almost all of us actually recommend starting off with the Docker image and using Docker to host Redis locally and play with your data there. But Redis is a cloud option thing. You can put your data here. This one you can see right here. It's hosted by AWS in the US East 1 zone. And what I did was set up some data access control. So I have these Redis ACLs, which I think is just an access control list. And I made this one. This name is called Inc. The only things it can do are anchor by and read. This tilde* means that it can do that across all of the keys, which is a little bit dangerous. If you tune into our streams regularly, you might have actually seen on Friday on This Week in Discord, our very own Justin Castilla showed how to change that to only allow specific keys to be interacted with by specific users. But because I actually just made this database today, there's nothing in here that is at all private, is at all something that I don't want everyone to be able to see. So I made this access control rule where anchor by is the only command, plus anything that reads. And you'll see what that means in a minute. But so then I made a role for that. I have an anchor by user. It's specific to this database, which I called Sav Playground, because my name is Savannah and this is just a play database. There's nothing in here of import. If it gets broken, it gets broken. But we've got our check mark. And so then I made a user that has the role inc user and a password, which I haven't shared yet, but I suppose I can. And I will also share how to connect. So if you have the Redis CLI, you can use this command. And this password, it'll probably stay this password until someone breaks this database. But with the anchor by, I think that'll take a long time. So if you're watching this in Syndicate on YouTube, you might actually still be able to do this and see what happens. So there's the CLI command. And in my experience, just from playing around with this, I would actually take out this username and password part, and then you just use the auth command. I could not get my username and password to format correctly. That might be because of what I made the password. Because let's see if I can't just show it. I think I thought there was a way to just show the password. Either way, the password is secret, 1 exclamation point. Right, I realized as I was typing that you guys can't see me go all caps for that second secret.
You said it louder, so I could tell.
Oh, also, the username is user. So we've got this incredibly secure database, but the only things that user password combo gets you are Inkerby and get and reads in general. But that means that you can't go in and like change my JSON data. If I was doing, for instance, do bird stream in JSON, you would not be able to go edit any of that data. So that's cool. And I can always check and see, you know, I can change that password. I can just delete this user. So like if one of you guys does go mess this up, I'll just delete the user and then that password username is no longer valid. So you can see here that that's where I'm connected to. You can also see all of this testing right here where I was trying to figure it out and why some of that wasn't working. So here you can see is where I tried to use the username and secret password and it didn't really work. But then I was connected and then I got an authentication required message. So then I logged in. And Justin, I'm going to ask you if you want to show everybody what you did to connect.
Yeah. This is kind of a fun challenge. I'm connecting via the Redis Insight, but a fun little fact about Redis Insight is that it's constantly monitoring the database, which means it's calling
info, which you don't have access to.
So this is no perm. This user has no permissions to run the info command or its subcommands.
Okay.
But that's not the end of the world. I can actually connect using, let me open up a new terminal. Okay, and I will enter the command that you created. Oop, hold on. So Redis CLI -u Redis : / and then
so this is where I recommend just ignoring the username password part and just doing @Redis, and then all that very it's probably not arbitrary. Those numbers probably all mean things. I know the 11509 is a port.
Yeah.
I'm sure that C2240 means something, but I don't know what.
And then, sorry, just doing a lot of screens
That's
here.
okay. Oop. Oh, you're using the actual arguments.
All right. So
cool.
Can I do anything? No.
Nope.
So auth and then user and then secret 1 : still can't do that.
You can't do that. But you can get count.
Count?
Yep. It's just called count. It's pretty simple. Or no, you got to get count.
Oh. Oh,
there you go.
Can count.
We can count. We can send each other numbers.
Perfect.
So in addition to this handy dandy database that you guys can connect to and follow along with, I also uploaded that fast API that I was showing you a minute ago to a GitHub gist. So if you out there watching along in Syndicate would like a slightly, I say slightly more pleasant, it's honestly probably not. Honestly, probably using this fast API with the absolutely no UI that it has is probably not a more fun experience than just doing anchor by from the command line. But there are some interesting little awaits and whether or not we're waiting for things in that fast API. So you guys are welcome to play around with that as well. But really, I just kind of wanted to hop on stream with somebody else and kind of be able to show you guys. Okay, so this is where I need to put in the actual password. And I believe did I actually like get rid of my terminal? Nope, there it is. You can see I was doing a little bit of testing for something else. I had to pull up some little example code to make sure a search was working the way I expected. So I backed into our RU204 course that I had going on. But now that I'm in the right spot, if I run this, which I will also go ahead and paste in the chat, Unicorn is kind of just a tool for fast API. I don't fully understand it, but when I started streaming and I was like, I'm going to learn fast API, this was what happened. So it's what I've been doing since. Justin, I hear you recently started with fast API. Do you have any other stories about what Unicorn is or isn't?
Well, from I guess I would say from a Node.js perspective, Unicorn is similar to NodeMon, but it's also where it monitors code base and then reloads whenever it sees a change. But it's a little bit more powerful than that. So you can actually run different applications and different names of apps below it. So, but that's all I know so far.
Fair enough. So if you'll notice, I actually had to edit this already. So the one thing I forgot, if you don't give it a username, it assumes that your username is default. And I named this one user. So if you don't have the username provided, it thinks you're trying to do default with secret 1 exclamation point, which is not the password for the default user. So you need to add this username equals user. And I suppose I could throw this in the chat, or I could wait and see if anyone on YouTube comments and says that the username doesn't work. And then I can be like, well, here's exactly where you should go in the video to see that I already know that. But once you have something like this, which is available in that GitHub gist I posted, you will be able to connect and you should see that the current value is B6, unless Justin's incremented it, which he hasn't.
I can't.
You can't?
Well, I can't.
Oh, no.
Well, wait, hold on. No, it's still 6 for me. I can try calling it Inker.
Oh, I was going to say, so this should just refresh. All this does is get that value. But if you were to do a / Inkerby, now I've got 7. And I lost my window with Justin on it, so I'm just going to wait until he says something.
I can verify that I see 7 on my side.
Can you increment it, though?
Inker count. I cannot call Inker.
Oh, no. Do you mind if I throw your screen up to share?
No problem. So I call.
Oh, that's fair. So I gave you permission for Inkerby.
Oh, okay.
But
wow,
I think, well, yeah.
Anchor by count 1. There we go.
There we go. Okay, so now you can see there, Justin just incremented it. Justin and I are not in the same room. We are on opposite sides of the US. This is kind of magic. But you'll see here, when I now reload, I now get 9 because I did an incre by. So I took Justin's 8, incremented it by 1 more, and now we've got 9. Which, I don't know. I think it's cool. I've never actually, like, I have a computer science master's degree, and I have never actually just sat down and been like, hey, you update a number on your side and let me see it. They don't teach a lot of like practical database stuff. You know, you like learn SQL, you learn a couple of those things. But as far as like, oh, connect to a cloud instance and like send your friend a message, send your friend something where you have to show that you actually successfully connected to the same database. You know, that's not something I learned. So I think this is super cool. I've never actually just been like, hey, let's do this.
Oh, totally.
Hence asking Justin to join me on stream today. That way, if no one in the audience participated, I could still have someone else changing this value for me.
And I can also show on my side.
Yeah, go for it. Please.
I have the value 9. So if you want to increment.
Oh, yeah. And I'll just do it from command line. Just incre by count. Okay. Refresh that.
All right. 16. Holy smokes. There we go.
Yeah, I did an incre by count 7 just because.
Just because we can.
Just because I can.
Yeah, so you can create like a super ridiculous little chat program just by pub subbing each other.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that note, I'm curious. I bet publish is not a command you have access to.
Oh, no.
But I bet subscribe is.
Let's see here. Possibly. Yeah.
There's nothing for you to subscribe to right now.
No.
But
I just tried calling subscribe to a random channel, and it did not give me that permission.
Sorry, it gave you no permission, or it didn't tell you anything?
Yeah. No perm.
Okay, so apparently subscribe is not under the read category because that ACL list, if you see here, my ACL list for this ink user also has all the reads. So I wasn't sure whether or not subscribe would fall under a read, but apparently not.
Let's see if I can look up the command to see what it says.
Oh, that's fair.
And it looks like it's under the categories pub sub or slow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not
so if I go plus pub sub, that's a check. Okay. Ooh. I'm gonna go plus. Ooh, can I do just subscribe?
I believe so. Yeah. So plus subscribe.
Subscribe. Okay. Because the problem is that this password is out there for everyone to see, and I don't want anyone to be able to publish whatever message they want.
Fair enough.
So the real question is, how do I now authenticate as someone else?
You might be able to publish the default user.
Oh, that's fair. So I think this redis-cli, yeah, that's my local host. So that's not the one I want. But if I find this database and hit connect in my redis-cli and do that, So then if I do auth, and let me take that off screen for a second. Hit clear a few times. Nope, that's okay. I just can't scroll up. Or I need to change the password later. Oops, either way, that's okay. So if I do publish channel, I'm okay with the channel being test.
Okay.
Is there any way we can share both our screens at once?
Unfortunately not this way, but
okay.
There's always a way. So just give me 1 second.
It would be kind of cool if we could show that like I published a message and you got it on your other side of the United States.
Right. Let me see if I can do some real quick.
Some magic.
Yeah.
So in case you're curious about the magic that happens behind the scenes, we both have a lot of things on our desks, Justin more so than I. But he's got this really cool thing where you can basically treat a screen as camera input. So it kind of treats it like there's a third person in the stream instead of being two people and two screens, which just because of how StreamYard works and because of how some of the other things that a lot of streamers use, like OBS, work, it's just sometimes easier to have a screen be camera input as opposed to a screen as far as sharing services are concerned.
So unfortunately, I'm not going to be as big resolution as the actual presented screen, but I can do this.
Ooh, okay. Well, what if we do
or if I'm
how do I but I probably can't make that my screen.
Right. So
oh,
if we do this and then this.
There you go. Okay. So I've got, are you subscribed to test?
I will do that now.
Okay.
Oh, I need to off myself. Sorry. Off. And then user.
I gave it subscribe. So yes, it should now have.
And then subscribe, then test.
Okay, so I've got published test. Hi, Justin.
Oh, sorry.
I got a 1.
The screen is a little weird. See if I can.
Here, if I remove mine. Oh, there it is. Hi, Justin. There it is.
Justin. Awesome.
Oh, and I like your little circle head in the corner. That's great. Cool. So over here, I can just be like publish. And Justin's just hanging out, listening for all my messages, and he can't publish anything back. So even if I would subscribe to this channel, I would only be getting my messages. So just another cool way that you can use those ACL lists, ACLs. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. I'm adding you back. Oh, goodness. What did I do? There we go. Yeah.
It's a lot easier interacting with a cloud at the same time, and you don't have to maintain the visual presentation.
That's fair. Yeah. Trying to be like, oh, look, you can see both of our screens. That's a little more difficult than just sending messages back and forth. Yeah. Is there anything you want to try while you've got me here and we're both connected to the same database? Because other than this, I was just going to make you do some like.
If you want to give me info permissions.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that'll be safe. Then I can connect to Redis Insight, and we can kind of just quickly look at the capabilities of Redis Insight.
Cool. Data access control, ACLs, plus info. There you go.
All right.
Here, and I'll, can I shrink my, what did you do, Justin?
Pick this one, and then I'll do this.
There we go.
All right. And I'll make embiggen just ever so slightly. And so I have all of the data here, host, port, I'm calling it Savannah Sandbox, user, secret, and then add database. It'll check that I have info, and I do. Oh, I have 3 instances. Very interesting. Oh, this is me trying to connect previously, but I was without info. Here we go. So now I'm actually connected via Redis Insight, so I have access to all the keys.
Okay.
So here's the key, it's 16. And then access the command line interface. I can call anchor by count 50. There we go, 66. And I can try to just make sure that I can do anything else. So anchor count. Nope, no perm users. So.
Oh man. Okay.
So yeah.
I don't know that I realized that anchor and anchor by would be different.
Yeah.
It makes sense though. Yeah.
Yeah. One is just a simple little one bit counter, and the other is you could add negative numbers, which is dangerous. So
that's fair. Yeah.
Cool.
But I bet if you refresh your Redis Insight now, you'll see that I set a foo to bar.
Whoa. Yeah. See, I can read it. So I can definitely do that. But can I change it? Bar none. Nope. No permare.
There you go. You don't have permission to do that. That's pretty cool.
So now we just made ourselves emails. It's like a one-way email.
It's like I get to be the boss and I just send you all emails and instructions. You have no way to backtalk. There's no way you can say anything to me. I just sit up in my tower and shout directions at everybody.
It reminded me of the movie Office Space a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So if you are up for it, I would love you to spin up that fast API because I am curious about some of these awaits and async stuff and how that plays out when you're on the other side of that Redis instance.
Yeah, so let me get organized here. Where is that API? Oh, there it is. Okay. I have it up and running, and I will share my screen right here.
Cool. Okay, so if you would do...
Sorry, that's my old one.
Oh.
I was on bird track.
I was going to say, that's birds. So if you would do a /anchorby_slow.
_slow, like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it should take a second. It should take 5 seconds or so. There you go. Okay.
All right.
I was curious if any of that await or that async IO sleep would change the permissions just because I don't know if an await anchorby. I mean, I know that an await anchorby. Well, let me rephrase. I know that in the Python async IO library, I know that await returns a promise. I don't actually know exactly what the Redis async IO library returns as far as if that intermediate value is still, I assumed it was still a promise.
I don't know.
But I didn't know. So I wasn't sure if you would have permission to do some of these await commands, or some of these commands that are awaiting and asynchronous values.
Yeah, that seems like, I don't know, some obfuscation between the actual database and the client where it actually allows me to do that. Nice.
Yeah. So I think I forget actually, this is something I always have to look up, is like the fast API syntax for changing that URL, because you can send whatever value you want to that anchor by. I just forget like where the slash is and the question mark, and it's just called val. It's just VAL for a value. So if you just do like I think it's like
slash.
question mark.
Oh,
it might be slash question mark. Oh man.
I mean, is it going to be a query parameter?
Yes. So if you do slash question mark val equals.
Okay. So it looks like I can do that.
Okay, cool. The example that I had just also has the slash question mark, so I wasn't sure if that was actually necessary or.
Well, now I'm wondering the query parameters. No, not valid. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
That is cool.
So this is an optional. Okay, it's an optional parameter that we can actually send. That's neat.
Yes. So I bet part of the reason that there's not that slash is because I didn't define that route to have that slash.
Yeah.
So if you look at some people's fast API code, when they have that app dash route, whatever, they'll put a slash on the end. So that slash would be necessary then before you pass in any query parameters. But I don't have those slashes. I don't know if that's best practice and I should update that.
Well, I mean, if you want, I believe if you actually want the query parameters at all times, then there's a little bit extra stuff. But yeah, you have to you can put the slash and then in curly braces the variable name of the query parameter that you want. So you would put in val in curly braces. But yeah, this is a neat actual little secret thing. I didn't know that you could just sort of shove. I didn't know you can shove query parameters into fast API endpoints like this. That's pretty.
Oh yes, because I mean, there's one of the fun things about programming is that's like the example that I found is that it had you do it like this. Huh. So if you look at here, I'll steal the screen back from you for a second.
Please.
Move my camera off so you don't get all the tunnel vision that happens. So I've got it defined here. And so this is the default value.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the way that the one that I saw, that was how it did it. So I was just like, all right, I guess this is the way you do this. But I imagine sort of like with
yeah. But that would also necessitate that you have to have the route in that pattern. So I guess it's
so
good
then
to have both.
Now I can do something like slash anchor by slow. Oh, that's not how you spell slow. Slow. So now, okay. So now that doesn't work. But if I do a 5, nope. Oh. Oh, there it came. Okay. It came back. It was slow. Okay. So once you add this in here, this is no longer, this default value is just ignored now. It's just whatever gets passed into there. So if you leave that off, or even I think that slash is more what I was talking about is like this. I think that's like a stylistic. I don't know if there's a best practices out there or not. If anyone watching has more fast API experience than I do, please let me know if that slash is a yes, a no, a only when there's a default, only when there's no defaults. Please feel free to leave a comment and let me know the rules around that last slash for a fast API route. But yeah, you can just shove query parameters in here, and as long as there's that default value, then instead of having like that /5, I can just do question mark val equals that number. There we go.
Nice.
There we go. So I think, yeah, and I mean, that decker by is still just the same value. So if you're playing with this at home, you can still just do $val equals that. Also, like I said, this code is up on that GitHub gist, so you are welcome to play with it and play with the fast API routes and where there are defaults and where there's not defaults. But yeah, I think aside from a little bit of async stuff where if it was a little bit easier to share both screens at once, I would want Justin to do some slow stuff while I did some other stuff. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ask Justin.
Yeah.
Can you do that cool thing where you shared your screen at the same time?
Yes, definitely. Just give me 1 second here.
No worries.
And then let's see here. I don't want that. I want this. Okay, I think that will work. And then if we do this.
Okay, there we go. And I can make mine a little bit bigger. Oh, I can't make this route. Oh, excuse me, I have the hiccups. I can't make this route any bigger, I don't think.
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to get you on OBS and you can do this too.
Yeah, fair. Oh man, okay. So somebody changed something.
What?
Because I just got 73 for my anchor by. I set count to a 1.
Did you call decker by?
No.
Oh.
Oh, in my CLI, I set the count to a 1.
Oh, okay.
So then I was expecting to get a 1 here.
What do I have?
Because that anchor by, you have 1. So if I just do a slash. Current value. Okay, now we're at 2. That makes sense now. Okay. I don't know where that anchor by got 73 from right there.
I think we did have it at 73 for 1 second. Maybe it wasn't refreshed or something.
Yeah. Huh. Oh, well, cool. So now let's see, Justin, if you'll do an anchor by slow with, I don't know, some value.
So anchor by slow, and then $val equals the internet's favorite number, 42.
Okay. And then I'm over here just refreshing the normal anchor by.
All right. It's not showing up on my screen, unfortunately. You can't see it. But it is 52.
52. Okay, so there you go.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, so you can see there, like I hit this anchor by a couple of times after Justin did, or after Justin's was returned. So basically, this anchor by slow, Justin incremented the value and then slept for 5 seconds while I was hitting that anchor by. So instead of being 52, I ended up at 55. And now Justin's at 97.
Because I just did it again.
Okay, cool. Good. I was like, oh no, what have I done again? But then because I added this await the count at the end of it, Justin then gets like the most up to date that he can, but then I'm still hitting that anchor by on my side. So even that's still like a little bit off, if that all makes sense. And then as I was hitting that anchor by, at some point in there, Justin did this and incremented that value. So that's why that happened pretty much as soon as I started refreshing my page. I got that update. And then Justin waited for a bit and then got his update plus all of my updates. So yeah.
That's right.
And then I said it last time I was streaming on this, but I'll say it again because this await r.anchorby is not just standard vanilla Redis. This is actually, I have imported redis.asyncio as Redis. So that's all you have to do there to make all of the Redis commands asynchronous and awaitable.
I might
I assume
that's actually a newish
it's
bit.
a new-ish.
So
Yeah.
I actually had to force update my Redis for Python. So just
Okay.
because when I first started up, it says async IO is a module is not found. Redis.async
Yeah.
VM. So I had to just update it, and it worked.
Fair enough. Good to point out for those watching in syndication is that redis.async.io is relatively new. If you do some Googling and you're looking for like Redis with fast API, if you don't find me or Justin first, you might find Andrew first, and he has a little section in his thing about the async IO Redis part, and that has relatively recently been merged into core, I'll say core Redis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's this .async.io is just part of it, as opposed to you having to go find that separately and use that. But these are distinctly different async IO clients. And that's why I sort of assume that this one also returns like promises and stuff like that. I know I've definitely gotten some coroutine errors. So I think they pretty much function exactly how you'd expect, with all of the same keywords for errors and things like that. But yeah, so Justin should be able to get this value, but he won't be able to set it.
Let's see what happens.
And actually, let's see. I believe this one. Yeah. So even here, if I do set foobar, because I'm logged in as that user, you can see, oh, maybe you can't see because that text is very small. But even here, even logged in on my computer where I'm also the default user, this terminal has no idea that this terminal has better permissions. I say better. This terminal has higher permissions. So over here, I can set foo to bar, but over here I can't. I can get foo, and I get back bar, which, also I have never played around with the Redis ACL commands before, so this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very easy to do. When I was in, I'll just show you guys this Redis Cloud console, and like I said, this all is going to seem scary. It says subscriptions. This is Savannah's free subscription. I've used 2.4 megabytes. And like, admittedly, that is obviously very clearly like toy data and all of that. But just to throw it out there to those of you watching later, you can do this with your friends for free.
Yeah. Also, all of our Redis University courses are designed to work on a free Redis Cloud instance.
Oh, nice.
Especially RU204. We don't want to make an impact on your computer. So you, instead of using a Docker like we usually do, you can just have it connect to a Redis Cloud instance, and you can have all those books and
nice.
play with all the search and JSON capabilities, because Redis Cloud comes with Redis Stack, which has search, cloud, time series, graph, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. You can see right here that like when I went to databases, like I've got this modules and it just says all of Stack. I've just got Redis Stack right there. But what I was going to show was this ACLs, where like if I wanted to add a new user, I can do like test. And then when I go to ACL rule, I can just go to this rule builder.
That's really
cool.
I
can do like include category, exclude category, include command, or exclude a certain command. And as soon as I start typing, oh, it does not give suggestions. I thought it did. But there's ACL docs as well, where it'll give you the categories and everything. And then I can do all keys, or like how Justin, you did like the RU204:*.
Yep.
Like I hit add on that. Exclude, get. You can't get anything.
Oh no, just set, just create.
Ooh, why can't I save this rule?
What's
The star includes all keys.
What's the first form field above below keys, where it says RU204 star? What is that supposed
Oh,
to be?
that's just because I started to do it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just another key. Yeah. So if I do star, additional keys are redundant. If I do RU204, I guess if I'm excluding the command get, I want to include category, will include command set.
If you
And
are you able to just get rid of that line?
there we go. Okay. So like this is obviously like a silly key. I'm not going to make this rule because that would be silly. There's very few worlds in which I want you to be able to set a value and not get it. Although it could be made for some very interesting edge cases. I am sure someone out there has something where, I mean, actually realistically anywhere where maybe I want to, maybe set's the wrong one, but you know, like this anchor by, maybe I want you to be able to increment the data, but I don't want you to know what it is because I don't want you to know what if other people have incremented it as well.
Yeah. If we're doing like, I mean, not so much for RU204 books, but if we're doing like IoT, like sensor reading and reporting and stuff like that, there's no reason for a sensor to read data, just send data. So
that's fair. Yeah. And so if you had a sensor and you were sending me data, I might make your user just able to send and not able to read that way.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, absolutely. You would just even tighten it up even more by setting the specific key prefix for that sensor.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
If somebody was able to somehow get into that sensor and access your endpoint, there would just be nothing that they can do except for what is exactly expected.
Yeah. I mean, they could send malicious data. They could send...
Yeah, they could send garbage.
Yeah, they can send garbage, which is a really interesting, when you get into the whole like adversarial machine learning ideas of people very intentionally manipulating the curves and like the averages of your data. That way things that used to be outside the norm are now inside the norm. You can get into all of that. But as far as our Redis access control list goes, you want to be specific and thorough when you're doing things that are on the internet. Because as you can see, if any of you watching go run these commands with the username and password that have popped up in the chat already, you too can find out what the current value is. I wonder if it's changed. I just want someone else to do it. You know, I just want someone else to run this. We're at 140.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. I just want someone else to do it. I just want someone to go connect to this database just so that I know that they can. Like I said at the beginning, I've never done this, which it seems weird. But for the most part, you know, when you're working on code together, you're using GitHub. For the most part, the data that I've used has been small enough to be stored in GitHub, or we've used some other data store. And like I've been able to pull it down, but I haven't ever done anything where I've just like been reactionarily watching someone else interact with the same data that I'm interacting with. So this gets much closer into like a functional app or a functional website, or, you know, really anything where if we were talking about birds, maybe we want bird counters, and I can start incrementing the birds that I see and you can increment the birds you see, and we can find out how many of the same birds live in Atlanta as Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different cases for this, or if like it's like a kind of like a hungry hippo game where we both press Decker, and whoever gets the last one wins.
Ooh, that's a very easy web game. Yeah, whoever can get to exactly 0 first. But yeah, really, that's all I wanted to do today. We've been exploring connecting to the same Redis instance for about an hour. I'm happy with the exploration. I had fun and I learned a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to pose them.
Yeah, this is really good because we saw how to connect via the CLI, which is the first baby steps, running commands in the CLI, seeing what happens when you don't have permissions but you're still trying to do it. It gives you a no perm. I don't have a perm, obviously, but and then we connected to Redis Insight. You want to make sure that you have info allowed on Redis Insight because that's how it checks a heartbeat. And then we played a fast API and we're able to play with the query parameters to get values in. So Redis Cloud is a lot of fun, and connecting across the globe is also a lot of fun. Too bad we don't have like Simon or Nava on here to connect from literally across the globe. But it's me.
Someone did something.
Whoa!
Unless that was you.
That was not me.
Then someone else did something and it worked.
Awesome. That's a lot of numbers.
And I like it because we were at 140. So not only did someone decrement it 3 times, we also got this huge increment. Oh man, I wish I'd been running monitor. There's a good question, actually.
Oh, yeah, run monitor. Let's see what happens.
So Justin, will you run something real quick for me?
Sure.
Okay, so I definitely got mine. Oh, I'm seeing your info, I think, from Redis CLI.
Probably, yeah. Let me.
Yeah.
Anchor count. Anchor by 46. And now.
There it is.
There we go.
Anchor by count 46. Okay, yeah. So monitor, I didn't know. I guess I figured it would pick up on other commands, but I wasn't sure. Oh, someone tried ping.
I'm trying to ping, but it's not letting me. You can still see it. Cool.
Oh, that is cool. So I can even see like the commands that you didn't have permission to run. That is cool. Okay. So I guess realistically, if you wanted to send me a message, this is how you'd have to do it, is just try to run the command and hope I'm looking at the monitor.
Yeah, monitor is a lot of fun because you can see everything from your client down to, well, actually, let me, I'll just incur slow by 5 and see what the fast API client does.
Oh, I get it immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Because it's the async IO await that's sleeping for 5 seconds. So the Redis command just happens immediately.
Cool.
And then that's just an arbitrary sleep 5 seconds. Oh, someone connected to our website, maybe?
Nope, that's 51241. That's me.
Does Git count? Oh.
I think that's the client. Or I'm sorry, that's fast API automatically getting that.
Okay.
Yeah. So 51241 is my Redis Insight.
It's your Redis CLI.
And then 65842 is my browser.
That's a 0. It's a 0, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, so then this 51304, was that your Reddit? Was that the CLI where you tried to set hello Savannah?
That's the actual CLI, yeah.
Okay. So then I bet if I do this, yep, there's me. Okay. Oh, well, now no one's going to play with it because we're going to see, is that my IP address? Is that my public IP?
Oh.
Oh.
I think so.
I think so too.
We'll just cut this out afterwards.
We'll go edit the YouTube video and blur it all out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Whoops. Okay. Well, on that note, we have some editing to do.
That'll be all right. No one will be malicious.
They're public IP addresses for a reason, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, I have no further questions.
Nope.
There's no questions in the chat at the moment until someone tries something with one of those IP addresses.
Fun.
Oh, remove that. There we go. Well.
Yeah. anybody has any more questions, head on over to our Discord channel, and
Yes.
we'll be more than happy to continue this conversation. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other administrivia? Yes. This is streaming live on Twitch, but I can't. There it is. So if you follow us on Twitch, you'll get notifications when we're live. If you want to watch at your leisure, you can subscribe on YouTube, where all of these videos automatically get uploaded forever and ever. So that's cool, I guess. Sometimes scary, but it's mostly cool. Join us on Discord. You saw us use Redis Insight, which if you don't want to download Redis Insight by itself, Redis Insight comes with the Docker image for Redis Stack, which is just basically the new and improved starting point for Redis. You get a bunch of expanded capabilities. It really is just the new starting point.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think everyone should go have a great rest of their Tuesday.
Yeah, thanks for letting me hop onto your stream.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your public IP address with everybody.
No problem at all.
Okay. Bye, everybody.